I hate bugs. Hate them. But for some reason I'm fascinated by movies that use them in some way, most often as the antagonist. I can deal with mosquitoes and ants, but roaches are terrifying. What could be worse than roaches? How about intelligent roaches that take on the characteristics of what they eat? The Nest is a 1988 horror movie from director Terry Winkless. Why do I do this to myself? The movie opens in Northport, New England. Our hero, Sheriff Richard Tarbell, is recovering from an all-night bender. He calls the precinct, and we get a few of those will he or won't he drink the coffee with the roach in it. Roaches in my coffee? Well, time to burn down the house. He heads to the local diner. After almost swallowing a roach, the last thing I'd want is breakfast. While there, he pays a visit to his girlfriend, an extremely close talker, Lillian. Waitress, where's my Spam and eggs? Northport, population 700 million roaches. The sheriff heads to the dock to pick up Beth, his ex-girlfriend, and the daughter of the mayor. You'll notice a weird trend with Beth. She's always wearing pink. The neighbors can't contain themselves during the Fish-A-Whack Festival. What festival is 2 months long? The sheriff gets flagged down by Mrs. Pennington, who runs the library.
Kids, no respect for property.
That's just mice or insects, Mrs. Pennington. They eat the glue out of the binding.
Not in every book in the library overnight.
Yes. Teenagers removed all the glue from every book in the store overnight. This girl looks like an extra from Teen Steam. They head to the mayor's house. Ah yes, the famous palm trees of Cape Cod. The mayor's having a meeting about all the incoming tourism because of the Fish-A-Whack Festival. Really? There's a lot of close talking in this movie. Richard drops off Beth and, oops, that shouldn't be in the shot. Beth goes to see her father, who hasn't seen her in 4 years.
Well, you're what I wanted for my birthday.
I'm glad.
Because I didn't get you anything. Richard's heading to his car, and who's this guy? He hears a noise and runs into the local crackpot Jake, who also happens to be Lillian's father. Beth goes wandering through nature and finds the trailer for Galaxy Homes. Wow, look at all this construction going on. They have a guard dog. Beth finds an area blocked off by in-tech development. Meanwhile, the dog's minding his own business, and, I don't like where this is going. She hears the dog and heads back to see this.
Oh, God, Richard. We could have done that.
It's okay. It'll be all right.
First of all, how does she know it's Richard? She's looking this way, and then jumps when he touches her. Secondly, neither of their mouths are moving.
Oh, God, Richard. We could have done that.
It's okay. It'll be all right.
Richard goes back to look at the corpse, and now it's covered in something that it wasn't 30 seconds ago. The mayor's upset about Richard's findings, and gets on the phone with someone mysterious.
No, I don't know for certain what it was, but I'm sure we both understand the implications. Huh?
Jake sees an army of roaches and goes to hide in his bed. It goes about as well as you'd expect. Richard stops Homer the exterminator and asks him to fumigate his house. Richard goes to see Lillian, but she's jealous now that Beth's back. The mayor goes to pick up the mall-haired Dr. Hubbard. They meet up with the sheriff so he can show them the remains of the dog.
Well, Simpson is getting ready to go up and hunt for tracks.
Wait, there's a character named Homer and Simpson? Hubbard's checking the corpse. I'm in the mood for ribs. Richard heads to Perkins Meat Market. We have all your bitch products, like cheese, chocolate, and cookies. All the meat in the market was eaten overnight, and what's left is one of two things. Roach eggs or roach shit.
Do you think this is a joke or something? I mean, in my dorm at school, they used to play pranks and,
Well, some of these tourists have a strange sense of humor.
What kind of tourist does this town have? The movie wanted to make sure that we hated Hubbard, so she captures a cat to use as bait for the roaches. I didn't sign up for this. Why don't you leave me alone and go get some of your bitch products? The roaches swarm and kill the cat. I'd like to take this moment to mention that no animals were harmed in the production, but they did kill about 1 million roaches, which is fine by me. Hubbard's inspecting the roaches when they swarm the glove and start biting her hand.
Take your hand out. Jesus.
Okay, she's a lunatic. Beth's in her basement digging through this box of exposition when she finds... Oh, now who left that lying around? She heads out to the blocked off area. Intech Secret Labs. Security that couldn't keep out a 5-year-old. Hubbard discovers the amount of gas needed to kill the roaches is lethal to humans, so they need to find another way to stop them. The mayor realizes that letting genetically engineered roaches into town was probably a bad idea.
What the hell did I listen to them, all right? Why did I listen? We can control it, it's...
What was their pitch? We want to use your town to breed intelligent roaches, but we can keep them under control, so it's totally okay and not the worst idea ever. The mayor wants to evacuate the town, but Hubbard convinces him to give her 24 hours. Sure, she seems like a sane person. You should put the lives of everyone in town at risk for her? Beth heads into the cave. Sure is a good thing she has a flashlight for this pitch-black cave. So when Richard and Beth were younger, they used to go into a cave and play Monopoly? I owe you 1 sex, XOXO, Richard. The sheriff pulls over Homer, and now we begin the comedy portion of the film. He gives him some of the roach droppings, so he can tell him that they're roach droppings.
What might that be in plain English?
Cockroach droppings.
The glass in this truck is picking up everything. Beth finds a big pile of explosives as the roaches return to the cave. She runs into some giant testicles and escapes through a hole in the back of the cave. Wonder what was chasing her. Nope. Beth goes back to tell her father and Richard what happened. Hubbard explains she was doing genetic engineering at MIT. The mayor warns Richard to stay out of the caves, and he quits being the sheriff. The chef's digging through the trash outside the diner, and hell no. Richard and Beth head back to his place.
Richard, do you have a shirt I can put on?
Sure is a good thing you had a pink shirt for her. Now, let's have sex in your roach-infested house. So that was a real dick maneuver. While in the bathroom, they discover this, which means it's time to do this. Homer brings a bottle of his best piss over to see Jake, who is super dead, of course. He gets back to his bike and, hey, can we get a lift into town?
Perkins was fishing down near the beach. He thinks he found the Gordon kid and that missing tourist girl.
You know those characters nobody mentioned until now? Well, they're dead. While Richard was cheating on Lily with Beth, she was dealing with this. Look at all these roaches around me every day. This is pure nightmare fuel. How much did they pay the cast? Not enough. Richard goes to check on Lily. Hey, I'm thirsty. I could go for a smoothie. Oh, God! She hid in the freezer and froze to death. I'm sad, but what a relief. Now I don't have to break up with her. Homer finds Richard and they go to get Hubbard.
I wish you were a man. Since you're not.
I can't punch you, but I can shoot you. Hubbard explains that she was creating roaches that would eat other roaches, but instead of dying off after one generation, they evolved and became intelligent. Intelligent roaches? Is this the prequel to Joe's apartment? The roaches built some sort of cocoon around the corpse of the cat. The roaches are attacking the mayor's office. He sacrifices himself to save Beth. What good did this do? He could have just closed the door, you know. This didn't stop the 80 billion roaches in the other parts of the building. Good grief. It's the grandmother from Dante's Peak all over again. Hubbard, Richard, and Homer head downstairs to see the roaches made a hybrid roach cat. It almost kills Richard, but Hubbard hits it with the fire extinguisher, and Homer smashes it. Beth survived, but her father mutated into a hybrid. Oh no, my eye fell out. Whoops! Slipped on my eye. Richard's speeding to get to Beth, while the roach mayor is very slowly moving towards her. Why did the cat take a day to mutate, but a full-blown human took like an hour? Who cares? Kaboom! Hubbard forces Beth to show her where the nest is. Homer tells Richard there's a queen roach, and if they kill her, all the roaches will die. Beth sets the explosives while Hubbard runs off. She gets attacked by Super Mega Ultra Hybrid Roach, which I'm guessing is the queen. It gives Hubbard one of the best comeuppances I've seen in quite a while. Richard takes a boat and helps Beth escape the cave. They blow up the nest, but one of the bugs survives. Step on it now! The movie was shot in 25 days, mostly in Oregon, Coldwater Canyon, California, and Malibu, Florida. It was produced under Concord Pictures, a company created by legendary low-budget master Roger Corman and his wife Julie. Director Terry Winkless got his start in showbiz as Bingo Gorilla in the Banana Splits. While the job wasn't the best, he became friends with one of the show's directors, Richard Donner. Winkless worked on various projects, but always wanted to direct. He worked as a production assistant with John Carpenter on his first movie, Dark Star, back in 1974. The two joked about who would work with famous actor Robert Lansing first. After a short film Winkless directed caught the attention of producer Julie Corman, he was offered the job to direct The Nest. The first thing he did was hire Robert Lansing to play the mayor. Since the movie had a fairly small budget, most of the cast and extras were either friends of the director or the crew. The chef was Winkless' brother, Jeff. Nancy Morgan, who played Lillian, was a friend of the producer and was married to John Ritter at the time. It was hard to get actors to agree to the film, since most of them at some point would have live roaches on them. Sometimes they were able to use rubber ones, but most often they were real. The interiors were set so they could control the roach population. This of course didn't work, and the roaches infested Corman's lot. Reality kind of mirrored the movie in that they thought they could control the roaches, but they got insanely out of control. They had 6 exterminators come in to clean the place out, but the roaches kept coming back. Eventually they sold the space, and some years later it burned to the ground. The junkyard was Corman's backlot, and all the items were props from other films. All the insert shots with hands shaking off roaches, or pulling up something disgusting, were the director's hands. The movie was loosely based on the book The Nest by Gregory Douglas. The Nest has some amazing cover art. A gigantic roach attacking a scantily clad woman may not have accurately depicted the movie, but it sure was memorable. Is this movie scary? Not really. Is it unpleasant and disgusting? Yes, indeed. Winkless did a good job at his first time directing, and while he did have some goofs here and there, it just added to the campiness of the production. Working with thousands of live roaches had to be a task unto itself, so I applaud everyone from the cast to the crew for having the balls to do it. I sure couldn't. Now if they did this film, it would be CGI roaches and wouldn't be nearly as creepy. I like the concept of the roach hybrids, especially this ungodly monstrosity at the end. But unfortunately, most likely due to budget issues, they didn't do much with them. With the 2 human hybrids, you could tell they were just rolling them forward. The mayor's transformation was fantastic looking, as well as his death. Overall, this is a great gross-out film. If you can stomach seeing thousands of roaches eating Oregon disguised as Cape Cod, you should give it a shot. As a palate cleanser, I'm going to go and watch a marathon of non-bug-related movies. And maybe seek therapy.
See, the thing about Queen, Rich, is that she sends out some kind of signals and they pick up on it and the roaches return to her.